By the way, Corey, expect to fly on this one because I'm getting ready for the next webcast thing.
John's like, I'm doing my own podcast with blackjack and hookers, and you're not invited.
Carry on.
Have fun. Hello and welcome to Black Hills Information Security's Talking Bout News. It's June 29th, 2026. We're definitely not going to talk about AI today. I swear half our articles are not AI.
At this point, I don't know how you avoid it.
That was a lie. Yeah, we're going to talk about AI.
They're all chickens.
No, I knew it was a joke. I just
yeah.
I got a chicken story. We can do.
Yeah.
Let's start it. Yeah,
legit chicken story.
Usually we make people wait until the end, but let's just flip it the other way around. Let's do the chicken first.
Must have chicken. Must have chicken.
Oh, now we're recording. Okay, so now it's like
now we've
got to get this. We've got to get this. So the chicken story is I spent all weekend cleaning out a chicken coop.
You're making your own chicken story?
Yeah, making my own chicken story. This is a personal chicken story, right?
Ooh, okay.
So we had a bunch of chickens, and I like our chickens. I used to hate them, but now they're pretty cool. But we got about 27 new chickens because the price of eggs and all. And I spent a skid steer bucket. I don't know exactly how much weight a skid steer bucket can hold, but I shoveled out 6 full skid steer buckets, not with the skid steer, by hand into the bucket.
Into the skid steer.
Into this bucket.
And a lot of character.
It was a lot of character building. It was a lot. Like I could just feel the infosec thought leader just evaporating.
But did the chickens build any character?
No, they didn't. They didn't.
Usually you shovel metaphorical garbage,
Chicken
but
shit.
now you're shoveling physical.
Did they build any
garbage.
flavor?
Yeah, just literal chicken crap. But now that's what I spent a good portion of this weekend, and I think about it a lot when I'm shoveling shit in like a corral for cows or chickens. It's like I said, man, you got to get that infosec thought leader out of your head.
Wait, was it RSA last weekend, John? Oh, sorry. No.
I see.
All right. Anyway, we have a beloved cast of characters here. You can look at your screen or listen and hear our beautiful voices. But you have me, Corey Ham, director. I promoted myself to director, John. Is that cool?
That's fine.
I'm a director now. I'm director of continuous pen testing, which, if you're wondering what a director does, they sit in that chair with their name on it and do nothing else, from what I understand. We have Ralph, who's here drinking some ice. Ralph only drinks ice. He doesn't drink any water. It's like a little known Ralph fact. We got Bronwyn, who's going to teach me about rags. And I don't mean the kind that John was using last weekend to clean out his chicken coop. We've got Wade, who's... Is that a BHS shirt, or are you about
yeah, it's the honeypot shirt. It's the honeypot shirt.
Okay. I was worried.
I like that.
I thought it was... I don't have
I do too. I think this is
You're
like one of the
cooler than
best
me.
ones recently, right? Like,
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's part of the March, or what is it, summer 2026
I'm surprised
collection.
Disney hasn't stepped in yet, but
I think isn't Pooh Bear that version of Pooh in Creative Commons?
I believe it is.
It probably
has nothing
is.
to do
Oh,
with
okay
Disney.
then. Oh yeah, because remember that movie they came out? It's like Blood and Honey or whatever. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, Xi Jinping might be a little upset, but anyway. Yeah, so let's get into the news. We have, there's a lot of AI stuff. Essentially, there was an article in the Register that's basically, the terminology of this is a little weird, but essentially the article headline is, "It's looking like a hot, messy summer for security teams."
I mean, they
what
definitely
state were you
have
in?
Thanks for the news
weird.
update.
Like, I don't really know what that means, hot, messy, but basically this is an article or a statement made by Dan Lorenc, or Lorenz, I don't really know how to say that name, who's the CEO and co-founder of ChainGuard. Basically, open source projects are drowning in bugs. So is everyone else. This is nothing necessarily new, but it is going to get hot and messy. So that's, I guess,
the new part.
Good, bad. People, essentially it's like, this is real. So it's another CEO like John making another statement about AI is real.
Yep.
Is it?
Not exactly super crazy, but
I'm just waiting for blue team summer, just like one of those where the defense just
You've probably had it the past 5-6 years.
You guys are
listen.
basking in it.
Get on the cart,
Look,
Wade.
okay.
Get on the
Blue
cart.
team, yes, blue team was on the bottom of the wheel. Like, it's like the wheel and like red team's on the top and then it rolls.
Well, you're doing a Game of Thrones here.
I don't know if it's a Game of Thrones. I feel like it's some kind of CEO analogy that I picked up along the way somewhere. Okay. But basically, blue team, after the CrowdStrike blue screens, I feel like that was a tough one for you guys. But after that, that was a tough one.
Was your winter.
We just sat around and we're like, I guess it's a vulnerability. That sucks.
I wonder how many red teams got blamed for that.
How many pen testers?
Like, how many pen test firms got blamed for that blue screen from CrowdStrike? They're like, what did you do? It's like, I don't know. So
you guys were on top of after that CrowdStrike incident, you rotated back onto the top of the wheel, and now you're on the bottom of the wheel again. I'm sorry.
You might stay there for a while, actually. Wade, you may want to think about joining the offensive side of the house.
Maybe.
Blue team is, it's just fun to break things, and everyone's like, I can break things now. But anyway, that's a fun little kind of nothing burger of an article, but still worth addressing.
I like this because we need more affirmation. I got a question in that article. I've got it open right now. Let's see what they say about hiring. They don't have the word hire. It's not in there. Training. Nope, it's not in there. So this is a wonderful article that spoke nothing of us desperately needing to hire more people to deal with the level of crap that's coming down the pipe. So that's a bit of a concern that I have with this type of article is, what are we going to do? And I'm sure that whoever this person is,
it says to hire more agents, John.
Yeah, I think that it's somebody was selling more product somewhere.
More tokens.
Where's the product that they're trying to sell? Clearinghouse of reporting bugs. I keep coming back to it. It's like,
or whatever they're calling it.
You all need to start hiring and training the hell out of people.
Is to protect open source software from AI attacks.
There you go.
Oh, but it's ChainGuard is the product. Build better software. So it's ChainGuard. It's an advertisement for ChainGuard. Who runs
it's an advertisement. That was guaranteed.
Well, but hold on. Not crapping on ChainGuard. Doing an open source project, giving back to the community is the best way to sell your product. So kudos to that.
All right. So let's get into our hot, messy summer.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
All right. So there's a couple of vulnerabilities added to the KEV. There's a Cisco SD-WAN vulnerability. There's an Oracle e-business suite. Who doesn't love e-business? It's great.
The best.
Oracle, so secure. There's a handful of vulnerabilities added in. The FBI also issued a warning about Kali 365, which, if you're thinking that sounds like a really crappy pen testing tool, yeah, it basically is, but the FBI is still warning you about it. Essentially, it's a scam that targets Microsoft 365 users, essentially, phishing and device code phishing through Teams, Outlook, and OneDrive. It looks for OAuth device codes, sneaks past MFA because it's grabbing the device code authentication. Basically, the FBI specifically has warned you to disable this device code phishing.
Or can you let people know what news story it is? Because
I just pasted it in the Discord.
Megan is scrambling to try to find that.
Sorry, Megan.
Little kitty. There we go. Right there.
What else we got?
There it is.
I mean, there's some fun vulnerabilities that have happened this week. I feel like the other article, which I don't even know if it's in here, but everyone's been blowing me up about this.
Which one?
That like EDR testing framework article? You know what I'm talking about, Wade?
I don't. I probably know what EDR testing framework you're talking about.
Heavener or whatever.
No.
This one has hit my radar in a couple different places and is really fascinating. If you're into like malware development, exploit development, this is a super interesting tool. I'm going to link
Once again, got to get that
going off script.
Got to get
going off script here.
There we go.
This is an article. Right. Yeah. So here it is. So basically, this is someone, I don't actually know this researcher, Otter. I don't know exactly who this is, but basically, this is someone who built basically an EDR test engine that supposedly matches the behavior of commercial EDR. This is not, at least to my knowledge, going public. Basically, the researcher is super worried about the implications of taking this public, which is it's just fair.
But they're gonna write a big, huge, long website about it.
But they're gonna basically tell you how they built it and kind of let you sort of decide on your own how you could implement this. But yeah, it's super interesting if you're like an exploit developer type person or malware developer. This has probably already hit your radar, but it is really unique and interesting.
This also is really well written. It's not like hand wavy. It's like literally, it's almost like they're not releasing it, but kind of releasing it at the same time.
It's like a POC where it's like, then there's a ROP gadget, ... like maybe something will happen if you do this. Like, but yeah, I mean, I guess like my question for the panel is like, hey, let's say hypothetically you develop this. So like in your garage, you reverse engineered a bunch of EDRs, and now you have an open source tool that can basically be used to emulate them and analyze how they work. Do you go public with this? Do you risk it? Like this is a big one.
So for me, I'm of two minds. Like one, absolutely release it. You know, things are only fragile until they break, right? That's kind of the old school security model. I can see like it's too dangerous, but I think what I would like Otter to think about is the adversaries, one, can totally read this article and piece together what they did. So it's not like by not releasing it, he's making the internet a safer place. But then again, at the exact same time, does it actually change anything? Like, I think almost every company that's out there has EDR bypass techniques. What I would like to see, here's what I would like Heavener to be part of, is part of the MITRE evaluations project, where we can have something like MITRE doing the evaluations and truly get something in there, like maybe get completely independent people that bypass EDR for a living to give us a really good, unbiased view of which EDRs are performing and in what conditions. Because right now, I get what MITRE's trying to do. I do. I understand the politics of it. I do. But I'm also going to say I think it's hot garbage. I don't think that people are getting value out of the MITRE Engage framework because it literally comes across like every product wins MITRE Engage. Or not Engage, MITRE, or what do they call it? The evaluations. Engage is their cyber deception thing, which I've been teaching today. So that's the Freudian slip. So that's my take. What do you guys think?
John, you stole my take. I totally agree. Like, and also then have like, go get some college students to actually set up the network and then clone the network and then install this on it, right? So then they play on the same field. The one thing with the evaluations on is they also just like completely lock it down as an EDR goes, and no one's going to be able to run that way with that type of EDR. Like there's always exceptions.
They also do like MSSP enrichment, where their SOC is watching the telemetry from the product, and they know that the evaluation is going on. Like and this is what they had to do, Wade, to get the vendors to play.
That makes more sense.
The vendors want it to look good. They don't want to go into this and look bad. So MITRE had to make sacrifices. So it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, keep in mind, this is reverse engineering of their products, which is very much like, they're like, oh, this violates our TOS. I don't know if it's legally
legal. It's completely
legal. Okay. Interesting.
And
so it's legal.
It
violates their TOS. They can nuke your account, but they can't take any other action.
That is true. They absolutely could nuke your account.
Okay.
But it basically goes back to the Consumer Protection Act. The Consumer Protection Act, basically, you can talk about the shortcomings of any product publicly. Anytime you have a non-disclosure agreement with the vendor, you can completely ignore that particular clause, just yeet it into the sun. The other thing is the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. A lot of vendors like to come at you with the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, but all you need to do, and I've made this joke before, is you can reverse engineer any product for the purposes of interoperability. So you can reverse engineer a product to make it interoperable with other products, including
like my commercial C2 framework.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really hard. And this goes back to, I can't remember, it was a long time ago, but we really, really pissed off Cylance. Cylance was threatening to sue a bunch of security researchers. So I had Dave go through, and the blog is still up on our website if you want to go find it. But Dave went through and bypassed Cylance every single day of the week. And we published how to bypass Cylance on Monday, then a different one on Tuesday, a different one on Wednesday, and so on. And the whole point of that was to make sure that Cylance would sue BHIS. Unfortunately, they didn't. I was excited because that'd be great publicity. I know. But the reason why I bring up that story is there's so many people that are so afraid of AV companies and they don't want to release their research publicly. And if you don't want to release it because it's helping your business, awesome. I'm with you 100%. But if you're like, hey, I don't want to release it because I'm afraid that they're going to sue me, rope BHIS in. We're happy to get sued by EDR companies.
Otter, if you're listening to this,
it's a badge.
No, I don't know where this person works or who they are, but if you want to hang out.
But I think that they did. I think they walked that line, Corey, about as well as anybody could possibly walk that line. Rather than just hand waving and saying, I did this thing. It's like got code snippets. It's got explanations. It's literally a blueprint. And also this person knows what the hell they're doing.
It's beautiful. Anyone else have a take on this? Wade, is this like
I say
nightmare?
release it. Like there's like John said, right? They're already bypassing it. My first one is always just think like vulnerable drivers, right? Bring your own vulnerable drivers in. Like your EDR isn't going to be the end all be all. You should be building detections everywhere. So go for it.
It'll make everyone more secure and it'll hurt in the process.
The only reason they don't release it is so that those detections don't get just patched right away. I mean, that's
also true. That's a good point. Yeah, we didn't cover that. It's like once you document how an EDR behaves, they can change how it behaves.
Yeah, it's just like the flip side of it. But it doesn't the idea that if you don't release this, you're making the world a safer place is silly. It doesn't. It's not. It doesn't even move the needle. It doesn't move the needle at all. Right.
Especially when, if we're being honest, I bet you I could take this blog post, plug it into Claude, and be like, "Make this for me, buddy." And probably do it. And
Ralph, I'm gonna throw a counterpoint out there. I think it does make the world a better place. And the only reason why research like this and what we've done in the past with like the Sacred Cash Cow tipping series at BHIS is we got to counter program, right? There's so many CTOs out there that live off the marketing from all of these vendors and they start to believe the hype and the bullshit that their products are 100% effective, zero false positives guarantee. And I think that stories like this are important as a way to push back against that narrative. And that does have value, I would say.
No, I mean, I totally agree with you, John. I was just trying to. I think my bigger point here is that when people hold it back, thinking that they're the only ones that hold capability or something like that, like it doesn't really move the needle. Like there's so much more of that out there as well. I'm not even trying to like hate on or say you don't have something amazing. He probably does or whatever. It doesn't really matter. The point is that, and to your point, releasing it is better for everyone, the better good. And still making this article, I'm fine with that as well. Like telling you that, hey, look, this is kind of a roadmap of like how you guys could do this too, right? But I just don't feel like releasing it is okay as well.
I agree. And I think what somebody had mentioned, turn this into an evaluation, unleash a bunch of like PhD, masters, and college students that know what the hell they're doing, and let's tear the hell out of EDR systems. Let's get under the hood and see how they actually function. And honestly, the more we do that, the better they'll be.
Open weight EDR. There you go.
Tell me where to sign.
Model and smoke.
Tell me where to sign. I'd like to buy that. It's so good. Yeah, I guess the other thing that kind of, I don't know, this is kind of getting into a little drama. Like, I don't know if we necessarily need to cover it, but I'm curious if anyone's been following that closely, is all the Huntress stuff that happened.
Yes.
Did you guys follow this?
Let's get the article up. Quick.
Yeah. So I don't even know
that.
I don't necessarily know if there is an article, honestly. It was kind of a series of LinkedIn posts. And I don't know. Like I'll try to find something, but I don't think this has been covered by the news.
Sorry, I missed this completely.
Is it the insider?
Yeah, it's basically
ransomware?
So, yeah, I'll try.
I got an article for you. That's
okay. There's an article.
I remember reading that. It's basically saying that there was somebody inside Huntress who was, I'm not sure if it was blackmailing or
they were
or something else, somebody else.
Yeah,
and
I just pasted
the
the
person
article
who
in the Discord,
published it said that they had the evidence, they were going to present it, and yep, there we go.
Basically, yeah,
I love it. Social media drama.
Yeah, it's social media drama. I don't want to spend too long on this, but I do want to consider the implications of this. This is because we're getting into, essentially, I think I'm going to give my take on this, John. I'm curious if you have a take as well. But basically, we are getting to the point where I think the closest situation to draw here is like spycraft, essentially, is what it makes me think of. Because you're essentially in a scenario where Huntress is performing threat intelligence activities of various types and purposes, right? And they are having a bunch of different people working on different projects, some of which are probably, I don't know if you'd call them classified or whatever, but sensitive projects internally. And there's a difficult thing to be balancing transparency of like telling, here's what we're doing at our company, we're trying to impersonate and go after threat actors, we're sharing information with government agencies, we're doing stuff that other people might consider to be sketchy, right? But also trying to balance out not, breaking or disclosing or scooping like investigations that are underway or other kind of situations. So basically, like, the long story short, for those that are, following this, there isn't really, I don't think, a final situation. Like, I don't think that, unless it's updated since I read it, there isn't really a final like situation with this.
There's
but
like a lot of Reddit and LinkedIn posts.
Yes, it's a lot of Reddit and LinkedIn posts, but also, interestingly, as another sort of update to this, like to finalize out like the catch up before we get into discussion of it, is that a ransomware group today listed Huntress on their portal. So Icarus, their Icarus ransomware group, listed Huntress, claiming they had breached 88 gigs of Salesforce data. So like, I don't know if this is all connected or if these two events are completely unconnected. I don't know, but I don't know. Has anyone been following this closely enough to have like a more specific take on this?
I want to talk a little bit about the whole accusation that somebody at Huntress was talking with a cybercriminal. Huntress's response is they do threat intelligence and they do interact with the criminal underground. And I think if you look at a lot of companies that do threat intelligence, I think that happens quite a bit. I know for me personally, I have, I set up a lunch with somebody that was a Chinese hacker, just having lunch, right? Was I supposed to like turn that person in and make sure they got to jail? It was a good conversation, right? I learned a lot
Let's go
about
to jail after this, man. I'm hungry.
Yeah. It was a good conversation about what their work life was like, the things that they were focusing on. And I don't know, man. Like, is that something that should be illegal? I don't know. I mean, we don't have enough information to go off of this. And having a disgruntled employee that's throwing a bunch of shit on the wall right now, I think anytime you have that happen, you got to take it with a grain of salt and you got to wait and see if there's any more information that comes out. But until you get another side of the story or you get more clarification, I just wouldn't trust a thing this person says until they start posting a little bit more details, because my fear is Huntress was doing Huntress things. They were doing threat intel. They were, in fact, communicating with some nasty threat actors. Also, ransomware negotiations on behalf of their customers, right? That is something that's going to involve some level of communication. And to be honest, there are employees at a lot of security companies that think that any communication and any kind of negotiation is a bridge too far for their morals and their ethics. And I respect people stepping away for those types of things. But there's just not enough information here to go one way or the other.
I
John,
agree.
Another hot take on this is that why wouldn't we treat communications between threat hunters and adversaries in a similar light to how we treated spies having back channels during the Cold War?
Absolutely. I
mean,
didn't even
those are so valuable.
But you totally could be paying off some of these people to get information, right? You could say, hey, we got this information about this customer appears to be breached. Here's 1,000 in Bitcoin, $1,000 in Bitcoin. Can you confirm or deny this? They're basically a source. They're a human source. And yes. I can see a company of Huntress's size. I would think they would be negligent if they didn't have human sources that they were actively communicating and possibly even paying money to get that data.
Law enforcement, they have confidential insiders. They've got CI.
Yeah.
I know that most. Have I frozen again?
No, you're good. We can hear you.
No, we got you.
Okay. My screen froze. That was why I didn't know. No, law enforcement uses informants. Yep. Why is this not a norm? Granted, we don't have the law enforcement mandate.
And Bronwyn, that could be part of it too. Huntress could have been working with law enforcement with full authorization from like the United States Marshals or the FBI and communicating through back channels. It's entirely.
And that's exactly the kind of thing they would not be able to divulge publicly.
Yeah.
Yes. So the other super, just to throw another wrench in this, and I do want to get Hayden and Wade's and everyone else's take on this too, but the other thing that I thought was really interesting is like you read the writing on the wall here and you're like, okay, this is just a disgruntled employee, right? It's someone who's upset, they got, they switched to the night shift, or I don't know, they're just mad. They're mad at their company and they want to do damage to them. But then this person, I believe his name is Ben Folland. If you look at both his previous work, his qualifications, and like he talked at DEF CON and was like speaking specifically to like analyzing threat actor communications. Like he's in this industry, he should know how it works, he should know how the sausage gets made, so to speak. And so it's really interesting, I think, that like it's not just like a random like I was a janitor, I was cleaning up a printer and I saw a bunch of sketchy documents. Like this is a person who 100% knows how this all works. And so it's kind of like, to me, that kind of is a unique situation of like someone who should know how these investigations work and should be a part of them and has participated in them, but also is like seemingly confused or upset about how they are going. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can speak from like the SOC perspective. Communicating with customers can be very messy sometimes. I cannot imagine what it would be like communicating with an adversary in that sort of context, because it will probably become very messy very quickly. And I could see how someone could misconstrue that or misunderstand, or maybe even, a mistake was made. But these communications are hard when you're at a one-to-one with this person versus when there's some adversarial nature there.
Totally. Wade, what do you think?
I don't know about the situation. Like, you made some good points. I don't like Huntress is normally been pretty cool, so I don't know, right? Their reputation is decent.
Right. They have
so
like a pretty, I agree with that.
So I don't know what to believe that way, but insider threat is still always a thing, right? That's always the easiest way. Yeah.
I know Kyle, John Hammond has been a friend of ours for a long time. I just cannot, and it's possible, right? It's absolutely possible. But I cannot see that company being like, we need to be giving information and helping the hackers. Like, I can't see that.
Yeah, I would say they got in trouble like 6 months ago for going too far on a threat actor.
Right.
Like, installing EDR. It's like,
okay, so now they're going the other way.
Yeah.
They're like, actually, we were a little too harsh. We got beat up on that one. So here's some creds. Can you guys share this out on the dark web to help? We got to make sure that we're going IPO. We need to make sure the hacker community is on board.
I don't know. I would guess it's just an example of like the worst possible communication breakdown that could occur. Of like,
it's all on Reddit.
Yeah, it's all on Reddit and LinkedIn. It's like, it's super unclear. There's not really any facts on either side of the fence. They're both just like, no, you're a towel, or I don't know. They're just like yelling at each other. But I don't know. It's an interesting, it's not, I don't want to like capitalize on other people's drama. It's more just to think about how far can a threat intelligence investigation go? like we talked a lot of topics, John mentioned like paying a threat actor. Is that ethical? Like buying breaches, like it brings up a lot of interesting, like how far should it go? Is hacking back too far? Like what if you know, yeah, I don't know.
Think about, you remember years ago, and it still might be like this, Corey, you'd probably know more, but if you wanted to be part of different groups in the hacking community, like the illicit hacking community, to get through the front door, you literally had to commit a crime to prove that you could hang with that group. And there were absolute security companies that were doing that, sharing data in order to gain access to those back channels of communication. I had one guy who wanted me to get involved in it. I can find other ways to make money, and I understand their business model, and I don't want to crap on it too much. It's just not something I'm comfortable with. But yeah, he was totally getting data and like exploits and 0 days, and then using that as kind of currency to gain access to some of the forums where they would build trust so they could get information from these threat actors. I personally think that's skeevy as hell. But there's no way that that is an isolated case. There's tons of companies that are probably doing the same thing.
And again, it's following a pre-existing model in the real world, because that's exactly how gangs operate.
Yeah.
In order to get into the gang.
And I guarantee you that Huntress has multiple investigations going on right now where they're deeply coordinating with law enforcement in a variety of different ways. Guarantee it.
Yeah.
So, and some of that, when they're working under the guise and they're running at the direction of like the United States Marshals, or if they're working with the Secret Service, or they're working with the FBI, yeah, they're probably going to do some things that an employee not knowing the whole context would be like, well, that's weird. So
that was
most of these threat intel companies, right? You need to think about like the legal ramifications of seeing your company on an initial access broker website and then you paying for it, right? Yeah. Or just seeing one of your accounts on it and paying for it, because just because your account is mentioned or your domain is mentioned doesn't particularly mean it's yours. And now you have access to allegedly, possibly this person's entire life, right? So a lot of weird stuff happens when you start messing around with dark web and that type of thing. And usually for most corporations, you have to try to get legal involved to see how far you're allowed to go if you're doing intel from a corporate's perspective.
Yeah.
Wow,
and a company that size,
buzzkill, wet blanket.
He mentioned the lawyers.
You gotta mention the lawyers. That's the first person. You got to protect yourself, right?
And I would imagine Huntress involved their lawyers at every step of that process.
Oh yes, 100%.
Especially a company of that size. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Anyway, let's pivot. Anyone got an article they want? I got
one. I'll even read it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Drop it.
I posted it in the chat. Supposedly, someone got access to FIFA's network, right? So,
we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
Did we?
We did.
We
did.
Bullshit.
But we can recover it because it is. I was watching the World Cup this week, just being like, man, I'm not getting Rickrolled. This sucks. Basically, for those that didn't catch this one, it's client side RBAC is how it was working. Yep. So for those that it's a really interesting way of designing an app. Tenant, basically they have it. Yeah, it's a terrible way of designing an app. They have an Azure tenant or an Entra tenant. You can self-register into this tenant, but you'll be granted no permissions. Okay. So basically that's what the user did. They were granted no permissions, but all the permissions were enforced client side.
Oh, so God.
So they were able to just, basically be like, oh no, I actually am an admin. My browser said so. Like this is like video game hacking from 1995. And they were able to see like the live streams, the possession. Basically they could have edited the WebRTC destinations and they could have rickrolled the entire World Cup. They didn't, which I mean, I get it. The other thing we highlighted, Wade, which I thought was hilarious, is at the end, it has like the log of everything they did to try to notify the vendor. Yeah. Like it's like it took them like 9 tries, including like a personal favor they had to call in with the FBI or whatever.
And then they just patched it and didn't say anything, right?
Yep. Like no acknowledgement,
literally the worst.
No T-shirt, no like at least like a pair of shin guards. Yeah, like give them a soccer ball or something.
Give some
jersey,
swag.
A jersey. Those jerseys are expensive. That's like $170 jersey.
Well,
no,
so is that.
So is losing your primary stream. But
yeah.
Anyway, that's a funny one. Definitely, client side anything is bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else you got? Any other articles from last week?
Why it was in there? I was the 1 week I wasn't on. All right, like
it's not
just
in
missed
there.
it. Just
it
Do you know
is
what
in
day
there.
it is, Wade?
Am I in the wrong day? Like,
yes.
Bronwyn sent me a link, and that's how I got into the
You
news.
are in the wrong day, my friend. It's June 29th.
Today is June 29th. I sent you the June 29th link. What's
Good
the matter?
How did I
You got
find that
Good
news
job.
article?
Anyway.
Hey, y'all, I'm going to step out and get ready for the webcast. By the way, folks, we'll share it in the links and Discord. We're doing an emergency webcast. It was on front page news about China matching Anthropic and cybersecurity and the Wall Street Journal and all kinds of things. And we're going to be talking about China. We're going to be talking about AI hacking. We haven't been talking about that article in this newscast because we're going to do a full 1 hour ambulance chasing newscast on that topic. And I might have some special guests joining.
Ooh,
Bronwyn,
exciting.
Corey,
Ooh.
if you want to come. It would be
I already
awesome
have
to
a
have
podcast,
you.
John.
Nudge,
Nice
nudge,
try.
hint, hint.
All right, I'll see you all in a bit.
I already have a podcast. We've already had one first podcast.
Hey, if
but
you're
what about
burnt out,
second
that's
podcast?
fine. Some of us have been doing this for like 5 hours today, so fuck it. We'll just keep going.
All right, yeah, keep going, John. 24 hours. It'll be easy.
Yeah, you did that before.
Aren't we supposed to be doing another I'm
Podcast?
so spacing today. No, it's a pre-show con-a-thon.
No, the
I don't know,
24
but I
hour
hope
thing
not,
or
to
whatever.
be
the
honest.
24-hour
Yeah.
con,
Dude, that would
John
be so much
pretty
fun.
just
Just a
gets
whole bunch of
burned.
Red Bull. You guys can like come work with the SOC for a night. That'd be fun. We'll call in
That
our
would be
guys
fun.
from the night shift. Yeah,
All right.
That'd be
Anyway.
totally cool.
that'd be fun.
Anyway, let's
Did
get
we
back
did
to.
we hit a swear jar item?
John
we did a
did
couple.
twice,
We hit
I
a couple.
think.
Okay.
I
think
did.
Wayne
John
did.
did.
I just don't pay attention. Somebody else can let me know and I'll feed the kitty.
Anyway, we can talk about first of all, CISA KEV. If you have Unify gear, if you use Unify gear in your home lab, I think I mentioned this last week, but definitely patch it. CISA added 4 or 3 Unify CVEs to the KEV list this week. All of them in improper access control, path traversal, improper input validation, all in CISA. Not good. Patch your Unify stuff. You do have to reboot. And then also a Lantronix one, which no one would expose that to the internet, so it's fine.
I always love how I know when there's like a Unify vulnerability of some kind because like all of my servers go down because it updates in the middle of the night and I get a billion alerts on my phone when I wake up. Like PagerDuty's trying to make me think somebody died or something. Like
it's automatic, but you have to enable the automatic.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you have to enable that piece.
Strongly recommend that. Also, this is an older article, but I found it interesting. Apparently, the Section 402 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act expired.
702.
It just expired on June 12th, and we didn't talk about it on the show, but I wanted to bring it up because, basically this actually did happen. It's a win for privacy, and I feel like we should highlight that because it's been a long time since we had a win for privacy. And, so that's EFF post. I'll send in the Discord.
Yeah, 702 is bad news.
There's a scattered spider one.
Yeah. They basically
we also have Chrome.
There's a conviction, right?
It's a conviction. So it's 2 defendants pled guilty pretty much to hacking the transport of London from 2020. The crazy part, there were 20 and 18. Right.
I was going to say that. Well, that's at the time of being charged. The kid was 16 when he actually did it. Yeah, or 14 or something. Like it's so young.
One of the defendants actually copped to hacking U.S. healthcare, a couple of U.S. health providers. The other one, U.S. prosecutors have gotten to him, and they're saying he participated in 120 network intrusions against 47 U.S. entities, which pretty gnarly, pretty cool.
It's like almost kind of prestige.
He had no life.
Yeah, I was going to say, how bored can you possibly get?
I've gone to school with kids like this. I remember what it was like. They have no life. This is their only justification. The 120 doesn't surprise me at all.
You just substitute hacking for World of Warcraft, and that was me.
I was about to say, like Xbox Game Pass, play some Forza, like do something else
to
for
video games, not crime.
Yes, please.
Dare, don't do hacks.
Dude, one of those pays you is the problem. One of them costs you.
Well, pays you, but really, I think, I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not like an expert on this, but I really do think
there's a pay to play.
I think most of these folks are motivated by clout chasing and the game more than they are the financial side of it.
I bet it's addicting.
I think if you're financially motivated, you are using better OPSEC and taking less risks, and you're probably not 16, right? Like, I think being
14.
Or 14. I think a 14-year-old's like, I don't need money. I need like clout that I can post on TikTok or whatever. I could be wrong, but like that's my
also they're funneling all the hormones that they would normally funnel into having social interactions into their hacking. So of course they're going off the chain.
Yeah, I mean, ScatterSpider did steal money. Like they stole, they did. But they weren't like Lazarus Group or something that like runs these elaborate long campaigns. I mean, I guess 115 million. That's decent chunk of change. But like, they're gonna have to pay most of that back. Like it's not super successful. They can't be like long lived. Anyway,
they get sentenced July 15th. So someone put a reminder in so we can see. Yeah, in the UK.
So you can talk about it the week after.
And then they'll put a they'll put a fire stick in their prison room, and then they'll have to hack from a fire stick.
That week is going to be a busy week for cybersecurity.
Man, yeah, you're right. That and the dude. Forgot about that guy.
All right. So the Polymarket hack is probably worth talking about, right?
Ooh, okay.
So
a huge Polymarket scandal.
This is a really interesting one. So Polymarket essentially, and I apologize. The news for some reason the Notion is kind of wonky this week. But yeah, I'll send it in Discord. Basically, they were compromised in a supply chain attack, and so essentially threat actors were able to add a malicious front end script like JavaScript into the Polymarket website due to a third-party breach. I'm not sure who the third party is. I think so first of all, the money, about $3 million was stolen, and they're going to reimburse it. Of course they are, because they want to maintain their reputation. The other really interesting thing is that it only targeted 15 accounts. So they stole $3 million for only 15 accounts. That tells you the type of people that are betting on Polymarket, I guess. But I'm assuming they had some kind of logic to target the high value accounts or whatever, like a whaling type algorithm type deal. But yeah, basically users were tricked into approving fraudulent transactions on the official website after malicious JavaScript was injected. They're going to reimburse the folks that got impacted. It was only $3 million, which, believe it or not, for crypto is a very small amount of money.
That's nice of them to actually reimburse, right? Like, I feel like we don't hear that too often.
I would say I mean, in most cases in crypto, in this industry, they do their best to do that, but it's obviously if the numbers get too big, like if it's $500 billion or whatever, it's not going to happen.
It's probably insurance to a part of it too, I would imagine.
Yes, definitely. A lot of the like crypto schemes and scams that we hear about, they do reimburse, because I mean, obviously you got to look at the incentives of Polymarket. This looks bad, and if they didn't reimburse, everyone would just switch to, Polymarket or whatever the other, like the same thing. There's so many other betting apps. Like it's a network of the same thing offered from 10 different companies.
Pervasive. I can't believe how you can just bet on anything. But anyway.
You can bet on anything. And someone in the Discord did make the joke. Did they bet on themselves before doing that? Yeah. Like they make a bet. Polymarket gets hacked this week.
Right. And then they get refunded. Like, can you imagine that? That's the heist for sure.
I mean, it is really interesting though, because I do know that Polymarket, like they do investigate like like there was a guy who like bet a bunch of money on whether there was going to be a streaker, and then he was the streaker. Like, like that they will like negate those obviously fraudulent bets. But
It's almost like at this point you can bet on anything. Like people are betting on when Fable returns to Anthropic for you to be able to use, and like there's maybe some data points there where it spiked when they added back in references to the code of Fable. So there might be some like usefulness for normal people, but I think at that point when you're betting on somewhat ridiculous things like that, like. Maybe it just means that I don't have a ridiculous amount of disposable crypto to use on this stuff.
That's a real
but
problem right there.
I guess I'd rather go buy like CSGO cases or something. Like
it's a you thing. Yeah, it is funny though. Like I saw this randomly. This is like a side tangent, but I saw this random YouTube clip of like Brewster's Millions, or if you guys know that movie from back in the 80s, it's like the guy who he has to spend all of his money in a certain like 30 days or whatever. It's like nowadays, just one bet on Polymarket, you can rip through the entire, or like Hayden said, CSGO cases. You can spend $1 million, $10 million on loot boxes in like a weekend of clicking.
Yeah, and even if you lose, you get some stuff out of it, right?
Yeah, you get some stuff.
You get some really crappy field tested skins.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Did you guys see the article about like bad OPSEC, Secret Service bad OPSEC?
No, where?
So
no,
I was in the wrong notion anyway, or something.
This is a CNN article. Basically, the Inspector General has essentially warned that Secret Service agents have left their phones vulnerable to hacking and risk the lives of U.S. officials. Basically, they're claiming the Inspector General is claiming that foreign adversaries could intercept and exploit Secret Service information. There's not a lot of technical details on this. Basically, they were using text messages to exchange information. So
SMS messages.
Yes, SMS.
Oh man,
certain types.
It's okay. It's okay. Just everything just got switched to RC3, right? We're good now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's fine. You mean RCS? But yeah, whatever. Basically, they also use their personal devices to receive a picture message from local law enforcement of the assassin. Like things like that. Like they're using their personal devices, essentially. They're texting and they're using their personal devices.
Well, they're following examples set by people higher up.
Well, I would think that an organization like that should know better than to utilize personal like BYOD policy for this kind of stuff. Like this says they're using personal phones, they're traveling internationally, or like with these phones that they don't then wipe. Like if I have a work phone for my job, why do you, as the Secret Service, not have a work phone that you're supposed to use? Like that just seems like a really, really, I can see why there were some people upset with them for that. That's just like, why would you even have BYOD in the government space in any capacity?
Imagine you get on one of their phones and there's just like 17 different versions of solitaire on there.
Yeah.
Right?
Are you on a stakeout? Enter stakeout
and
mode
each
now.
one had a different kind of malware inside.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, really, I would agree that like this is core to their mission. That doing things like making sure they have cell phone coverage, like whatever technology,
bathroom breaks.
I think more than anything, I think this is the upshot of how there have been so much political violence that succeeded in the last few years.
Just
clearly
negligence.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is negligence, and part of it is also just it's a complex landscape, and like they don't control the landscape always, and so it's difficult. But this is egregiously bad, and I hope it gets better.
And government
Did you see the example?
Too.
Example they used at the very end, where they talk about a Mexican drug cartel hired a hacker to surveil the movements of a senior FBI official in Mexico City in 2018 or earlier, gathering information from the city's cameras that allowed the cartel to kill potential FBI informants. Like,
yikes.
That's pretty gnarly.
I mean, that's a long time ago. Like 2018, like that's ancient history. But like this has happened. They're also claiming some cases in 2024. It's like, okay, 2018, you could argue like they didn't know any better. Or, we didn't have RCS back then, or whatever. But like nowadays, they should know better. They shouldn't be like, hey, dude, I didn't get that text. Can you just send it to my personal phone? Just send me the classified information on my personal phone. Thank you. Like that's like. How did they not tabletop that? I don't know.
It almost must be like a lack of repercussions for some of these things. Like if you're a government contractor and you're in a breach of a contract because you process something on a personal device and something happens, you're just done. It's over for you. But if it happens in the government space, it's, hey, you guys messed up. Don't you dare do that again. We're going to put out a new governance thing for all of our contractors to have to do now. Like that usually seems to be how it goes, which is unfortunate because, you know, we should be, I would wish that we could be following those examples of those organizations as like the gold standard for what our security practices should look like and what we should be emulating versus, you know, we have these very strict controls that are evidently not sometimes being followed as well as they should be.
Makes sense. Did you guys see that this kind of like not necessarily cybersecurity related, but I thought it was really interesting is the earthquake and the like early warning earthquake warning system in Android?
Yeah, I have experienced this. Have you ever got one? I haven't.
I don't have an. Well, I technically do have an Android, but it's like my burner phone. I don't pay that close of attention to it.
Okay.
So
I haven't seen that. Is that the hypertension alerts my phone sends me? My iPhone.
so I linked.
It's earthquake warnings.
Yeah, I linked a Google blog. Basically, the news article. There's also a New York Times article which I'll link. It's paywalled, but essentially, phones alerted, like Android phones warned millions of people. This is related to the Venezuela earthquakes that have been super tragic and very much damaging to that area and the people in that area. But yeah, basically, millions of people got alerts from their phones that like there's an earthquake coming, and you know that probably saved an ungodly number of lives. But yeah, basically, Google also has a post about it where it's only available, I guess, to people in California, Oregon, and Washington where there are earthquakes in the U.S. But obviously, it's available internationally as well, which is really cool.
When it alerts, you literally like seconds. I remember the last time it alerted, like it went off, and I looked it on the phone. It actually tells you
6 seconds. It said in this case 6 seconds. Yeah,
it told me that a category 7
enough.
It told me a category 7 earthquake was about to happen, which is like one of the biggest earthquakes that so I literally sat here, held my monitor. I'm like, all right, here we go.
Held my monitor. He's got his priorities straight. Save the monitor.
Well,
oh my god.
And here's the thing: 6 seconds in an earthquake is plenty of time to be able to get into position or at least get moving.
Or stop your car. Or stop your car, or
stop your car, or something.
They say 6 seconds, but
hold on to your monitor.
Mine was the earthquake was
save your
it was pretty far out.
Yes, quick save F5 for the win.
I had like probably 2 seconds until it alerted till I felt it. The bigger thing is I was
Earthquake Plus. Are you not paying for Earthquake Plus?
You get an extra 3 more seconds. By the way, you can assume the position, which is putting your head between your legs and kissing your ass goodbye.
Yeah. If it's above a 9 magnitude, you just don't have to do anything because you're going to die anyway.
Yeah, that's unless you have the earthquake season pass, though. That'll be
yeah.
I think
one of the things, though, about the earthquakes in Venezuela, if anything, is proof positive that the regulations that we have in Southern California, as far as building standards, that those regulations save lives. I hate to say it, Venezuela is proof positive of how not having those regulations, those safeguards in place, really make a big deal. And I've lived through, let's see, the 71 in not Northridge. It was in the San Fernando Valley. There was also the 84, the Northridge. We're overdue for another one. I've seen multiple quakes. I've seen people lose their lives. And my heart goes out to all those people in Venezuela. And if you are in an earthquake-prone neighborhood, part of the world, get something. Because, 6 seconds doesn't sound like much, but it can save your life.
All right. And on another note, I agree. And that's super, feel free to donate. I don't know if we have anyone like specifically that I'm aware of, but I'm sure there are many, non-government organizations that are helping out in Venezuela right now. So yeah, pivoting back to cybersecurity for a second, did you guys catch this article about organization invites in OpenAI and how they're being used for phishes? I just linked it in Discord. Basically,
everything's being used for phishes.
So this is I mean, there's a really good write-up on this done by Push Security, and I'll link that as well. But basically they're doing the whole like I told you so thing, because they claimed Push Security says they coined the term poison tenant attack back in 2023, and then ironically it got used against them this year, like from these OpenAI invites. And for those that aren't familiar with this attack, basically we've done it with Slack, we've done it with a bunch of different things, but you're essentially creating a fake version, like a watering hole attack version of a something like an OpenAI tenant, and then you're sending invites to your phishing targets. So like you can see the invite in their write-up. It basically says you were invited to the tenant on OpenAI. Obviously, it has a nice little bold warning that says, please check that you recognize the inviter before accepting. It says even there, it actually says the inviter's email domain, gmail.com, does not match your domain, pushsecurity.com. And yeah, basically, like, obviously it was unsuccessful and they did a fun little blog post about it. But essentially what they had set up is an attack. They had set up a person in that same tenant that was supposed to be the CEO of the company. And then I'm guessing they would try to scam the person directly, be like, hey, can you help me pay for OpenAI or whatever? I need your credit card number or something like that.
And it says too in here that it sounds like you would almost like log everything they're doing. So you'd be stealing everything that you would put into the model.
Your credentials
right.
Yeah.
And from like a SOC to like defensive perspective, we've thought a lot about that, is how do you get every ounce of logs out of Claude, out of Claude Code, out of Codex, like all this stuff. And it's all very gettable, which isn't a word.
Yeah.
But it's very, very simple to get all of those logging out, especially for stuff like Codex or Cowork or Claude Code. Very easy to get logs out of that kind of stuff. And so in this case, like, everybody's been told, don't drop sensitive information into random AI. Use the one that we pay for instead. This is the secure one. So you now invite this person to what they believe is the secure version of ChatGPT that their company pays for, and then they start dropping in payroll documents and who knows what else into there, and just
Yeah, 100%. It's a fascinating attack.
The data mining opportunities go through the roof.
This attack vector with essentially using another platform to send your phishing email to lure people in, right? It's getting applied across the board. It's not just OpenAI, any platform. In fact, I think this is more of like a category of attack. So like if you're building a SaaS product or whatever kind of platform, and it allows you to send emails through that platform, there should be some kind of controls in places to prevent that to be used in a phishing attack, right? Because threat actors are using any and all platforms that they can send. And the way they're doing is they need to be able to control who they send it to and the message that gets sent inside of there. If you can control those two things, now I have the ability to essentially build out a phishing campaign, not just to gain access, but also to maybe gift cards or whatever, right? To call you've been I've seen it where they're like, hey, this transaction failed, and people just see that their money was charged. Call this number to prevent it. Go on. It keeps going on.
It could, it could go any different way, and they also in the blog post talk about some other interesting vectors like SAML jacking, or Hayden mentioned just mining their chats for sensitive information.
And they're using the trust from OpenAI or whatever platform that it sends the email. That's how it lands in the inbox, and that's the interaction, right? That's what they're going for.
But counterpoint though, if it's on like a pro plan, let's say ChatGPT Pro, like, invite me to that. I'll use it. I won't put anything sensitive in there, but I want the free tokens.
Actually, Hayden, totally. Even with one of the paid accounts, one of the things you still need to be cautious about is the feedback feature. Because when you thumb up or you thumb down, you not only send the feedback, but you also send a whole bunch of context. So if you've uploaded sensitive documents, now you've guaranteed that the Frontier LLM provider is getting a copy, because they need to know why you said this was good or it was bad, and they need that context to analyze it. So, word of warning to all of you people out there, don't shoot your privacy self in the foot by using the feedback feature in the Frontier LLMs.
Yeah, just be like me. Just be like me and never use them ever, and don't even really understand that they were there. Like I didn't even know them.
well, sometimes Claude Code is like, "Hey, how is Claude doing in this session?" And I'm like,
"Go away."
I'm about to tell you. I'm gonna hit one right now. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
I don't. Tell
I asked Claude.
I'm not telling you
nothing to put in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I linked another article that was from Talos Intelligence that's kind of the same thing, and then we actually have yet another article of basically the same thing, which is Shop, which I just sent into Discord as well. Shop is being abused, which is like Shopify's order tracking app, in the same exact way that Ralph was just talking about. So essentially, users, scammers, are putting in fake orders. I don't exactly know how they're doing it. I'm assuming this is something that hopefully Shop will fix. But essentially, they're putting in fake orders, and then it's a callback scam. So they're basically saying, like, the joke they give in the article is, your Norton LifeLock subscription for $385 or whatever.
Yes.
And then if you look at the receipts,
they might be actually making a Shop account and then sending a.
It's like a fake order. It's like
a fake order from Shop. It'll come from Shop's email, but then that's going to get them off the platform, so it gets them to interact. So most of the time, it'll have something on the lines of "call this number if this wasn't you," right? And that's what ends, right?
Exactly. So you get that thing, $385 to Norton LifeLock. Call this number back if this wasn't you. You call the number back, and then magically you're buying Apple gift cards. Your grandma's involved somehow. It gets weird.
Oh God! Never
mind. Also using Jira too. And in the Talos article, they're talking about how they invite people to just Jira service management projects and things.
Yes. Anything, like, basically, honestly, if we're talking, let's go in depth on this because it's clearly a thing. This is one of those things that has to be addressed at like a business level. This can't be addressed with cyber stuff because it's shadow IT. It inherently goes outside of the realm of what a traditional defensive team can handle. So what this is, I mean, obviously you guys could detect the fish, like look at the communications and look at the proxy logs and things. But what it comes down to is you need to train your users essentially that they won't receive unsolicited invites. And you need to control carefully how your business communicates with your employees and make sure they know you're not just going to send them a random invite from a random Gmail. It really hurts like companies that are smaller would communicate with personal accounts and things more than it does like the big companies, because if I'm working at a small company and they're like, hey, John Strand just invited you to Slack, I'm just going to be like, oh, I guess John wants to use Slack. Like, I'm not going to, I'm not going to think about it as much. So it's kind of a business thing. You just have to understand, like, tell your employees that you won't just send them invites to things. Make sure you warn people if you are going to deploy a new OpenAI tenant or whatever, that you're going to be like, on an all hands call or whatever, be like, hey, we're going to send out invites for OpenAI. This isn't a phish. And if you're the employee getting it, look at, send it through your phishing reporting system or whatever. Like, think about it before you're just like, oh yeah, I'll accept this invite. Free OpenAI.
I have one last thing too. As a SaaS provider or someone building these platforms, they should be validating the domains before they allow them to send notifications, right? So like if you're sending a notification to Gmail, right, that's not going to work. But if you're sending a notification to another organization, they should be like, hey, you have to validate that this domain or that you have a domain even at this company, right? Like you have to somehow validate some relationship to that before you can send it. That could also help.
Yeah.
Look at Ralph, big brain thoughts, trying to solve the world's problems.
But how does that make them money, Ralph? How does that make the SaaS product money?
Yeah.
Well,
Hayden, how many times have you triaged an email where it's like an encrypted email
Oh my God.
Like it's like from an encrypted system, and the user is like, oh my God, I got an encrypted email. And then you have to go log into their encrypted email to make sure that it's not anything. Yeah, I've done that too many times.
I've seen some that are plenty of encrypted emails that they definitely shouldn't be getting. Yeah.
Well, I love when we wind up getting a legitimate phishing scheme that hits the company, and everybody's on the team saying, "Is this legit? Did you get this?
People
Did
start
you get this?"
tagging me like, "Hey, look at this."
Oh God! Everyone just sees everyone else. Hey,
I just forward mine to help desk. Okay.
All right. I think that's everything. We're at time. So unless anyone has any final takes, we already covered chicken at the very beginning of the show. So I think
I would like to add that we did not talk that much AI today. So if you
I love it. John told us not to. John told us not to. So if you're really into AI and you want to talk about how GLM5 is just as good as Mythos, because I don't know,
it totally is. I'm actually pricing out a rig right now to run it. It's
dude, you're gonna need a rig to run GLM5. But anyway, if you're interested in AI stuff, please join John at, I guess, in 30 minutes for a special. You have to register for this one. I guess if someone could find that link, let me see if I can find it.
I think it's in my.
I saw it on LinkedIn.
And
I was like, "What is this?"
I just pasted it in. I just pasted it in the Discord. Basically, it's John's going to talk about Chinese AI again. We had DeepSeek, now we have GLM.
It says
but this is a deeper dive.
Subscription. If I click the link, I can unsubscribe.
Nice.
Oh wait, Hayden and I have something going on this week.
That's right.
What's plugging?
It's tomorrow, isn't it?
Tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow? Oh, then yes, it is tomorrow.
Wade's like, oh crap! I gotta write some slides.
Something to happen on someday this week.
Hayden and I are doing some AI panel work. It should be pretty fun.
And 3 deepfakes?
Yep, pretty much.
You just building a panel with AI.
An AI security panel, yeah, with Kathy Chambers. If you guys remember Kathy, it should be a fun time.
Yeah,
awesome.
That'll be fun. I'm excited.
Say hi to Kathy.
I love AI.
All right.
I love AI. Me too, man.
On that, Phelps is over here loving on AI. All right. Anyway, thank you all. I'll see you next week. Stay safe out there.
Bye.
See you in half an hour.